Hello everyone, my name is Lisa, and I'm the Viet vegan because I'm Viet and I'm vegan, and today I want to talk to you about something that is kind of tough that I've sort of talked about before on my channel very briefly, and I've shared it on my blog before, so if you read my blog, you probably know about this, unless you haven't read that post. In that case, you're about to know about it now. As many people have probably experienced, I had an eating disorder. My eating disorder came out of a very tough time where I lost all control, and the only thing that I could control was my food. So I'm gonna rewind a little bit and just kind of explain how I found myself in that situation and what I did to get out of it and to heal myself and to like change my mindset so I was no longer destroying my body from the inside out. I don't know if you guys know much about Asian culture or specifically Vietnamese culture, but it's a very blunt culture and people often will comment on your physical appearance without a second thought. Like in Canada, you can't just tell someone that they're fat. Mentioning any sort of thing on your appearance is kind of like a no-no in Western culture because people can be like, oh, you're fat shaming, oh, you're body shaming, oh, you're whatever. And like, you know, people are often doing that. But in Vietnamese culture, when someone says like, oh, you're thick or oh, you're fat, like there's a word in Vietnamese that people use to describe me all the time. And it's like the direct translation for it is thick or like sturdy. I don't know, like I'm pretty sure it's thick. But they call me to, like they're like, oh, Lisa, con có lên to quá. And it's just like, it just means that like I'm thick. Like there's which is skinny, there's mập, which is fat, and then there's like this weird thing in between, which is what I am, which is thick. And so this has been something that I've been described all of my life. And like, I very much know that I'm not extremely overweight. I'm not extremely underweight. I'm healthy for my lifestyle. Like my vitals are good. So all of my life, I have been dealing with people talking about my appearance all the time. And with general media being like, oh, like models need to be skinny or like nothing tastes good as skinny feels. All that kind of BS. As someone who values feminist mindsets and that like all bodies are beautiful and everyone deserves to be happy and everyone deserves to wear whatever they want, and that like no matter what size you are, you can wear whatever you want, all bodies are bikini bodies type thing, because like if you have a body, then you can put a bikini on it. If you have skin, you can be skinny, if you know what I mean. At the time, I think I was like 24 when I went through my eating disorder. Like I very much knew that body positivity is a very important thing. It was so weird to be in that mindset being like, I want to be skinnier. I like the feeling of not eating because I'm skinnier. But at the same time, I would be like, what am I doing? I know this is wrong. I should probably eat. It's unhealthy. It was like a really weird psychological messed up time in my life. What brought me onto that was I had recently gone through a big change in my life. I had recently ended a very big relationship. I was in a 6-year relationship with someone that I grew up with, that in my head I was like, I'm gonna be with this person forever. I had planned my life around this person. I also moved from downtown Toronto to a condo, a rented condo, I don't own a condo, to this place outside of Toronto, away from all of my friends. I had really isolated myself, and I was in a long distance relationship. So like I went from talking to this one person every day for 6 years of my life to not speaking to them at all. The combination of breaking up with this person, being in a new place, and trying to deal with how to live my life and redirect it again, I just broke. The only thing that I could control when I lost all control of everything in my life was my food. I don't even know how it started, but it just got to the point where I would just wake up and I just wouldn't eat until maybe 4 o'clock during that day. And I'd be like, wow, I should probably eat something. And I would eat a teeny tiny meal. Because I hadn't been eating, my stomach was so small, and so I just was full after that little thing, and then that was it. And then I just drank water for the rest of the day. So I was like limiting myself to this one meal. The thing with social media is that I generally only post once a day. You only see what that person puts out for you to see. And so I put out this one bowl of food every day, and nobody thought, oh, what else is she eating? Nobody thought about like, this is the only meal that she's eating. That's not something that crosses your mind. Like people are aware that like there are other moments in your life that people don't share. And what people didn't know was that I wasn't really eating anything else that day. Or if I was eating like very, very small amounts of it. That was really tough. And I think the thing that brought me out of it was that it kind of made me realize, I'm like, I am not eating enough, and I am not being healthy. I'm not being kind to myself. And I think it took me about 2 months for me to realize it. But the thing that's so hard about eating disorders when people are first on that path is that we are so conditioned to value skinniness that when we see someone losing weight, people, especially after a breakup, people are like, oh my God, you look amazing. Like, you're doing so well. Like, that looks awesome, blah, blah, blah. But like, what you may not know is that that person might be battling their own kind of inner struggle and they're taking it out on their body. So just because someone is losing weight or gaining weight or whatever does not mean that they are being healthier or unhealthy or anything like that. Like, we really need to stop as people commenting on people's like appearances on their size, because just because someone is like extremely skinny doesn't mean that they have an eating disorder. Just because someone is extremely overweight or fat does not mean that they are harmful to their body. For all you know, that person might have a better cardio than you do. And same with someone who is extremely skinny or just skinny in general. Like, that's just their metabolism. That's just like the way that their body is built. It doesn't mean that they're any less healthy than another person. I would get all these compliments from my family, from my friends, being like, oh my God, you look awesome. And like, it wasn't like that drastic of a change. I went down maybe from a size 8 to a size 6. It really wasn't that big of a difference, but it was a big difference in me. People saw it in my face, people saw it in my arms. It was a big difference for people who knew me. Like, I've always been the same sort of size. In high school, I was like a size 4. In university, I was a size 6, and now I'm a size 8. And that's just the way that my body, I was very lucky that my body type happens to be pretty well accepted by society. So that made it very easy for me to stick to controlling what was going into my body in that sort of way. It wasn't healthy. And I didn't realize that I was allowing myself to just kind of starve myself. And I was just like, oh wow, I'm not eating as much as I could. Like, I can totally normally eat so much more than this. What is going on? This is not normal. Meeting Eddie and seeing the possibility of a future with this person, I was like, wow, I really want to be well. I don't want to be this broken person that he has to like heal and fix and put back together. Like, that is not the kind of person I want to be. That is not the relationship I want to have. So I talked to my friends. I would send them pictures of my food to like make myself accountable for it so that they knew that I was eating, and I would give them updates. Those two people in my life, like, they were incredibly strong for me. I wouldn't be here without them. It took me a while to get back on my feet and to get back into the flow of things. And I eventually did tell Eddie that like I was struggling with this, and he was like, oh, I had no idea. He never expected me to be a certain size. He wasn't mad when I started gaining weight when I was eating normally again. And it's still something that I struggle with even now when there's anything in my life that I feel like I'm losing control of. For example, my eczema, or things with work, or things with family, or things with friends. I have this innate instinct to go back to just eating nothing and being able to control how my body looks. It took me about 2 or 3 months to get back to where my normal body weight was. That is my eating disorder story. It is not as long as other people's journeys have been. Just because you know better doesn't mean that you are not susceptible to falling into that mindset during certain points in your life. So, moral of the story is that I lost all control, and the only thing that I could control was my food. I regained control. It took me a while, and I relied on the support of my friends and family to get back to where I wanted to be. And don't comment on people's bodies, whether they're skinny or whether they're fat or whatever. Especially if there's a change, if they're getting skinnier, if they're getting fatter, it's really not your business to say anything about it. If you have your own stories to share, I would love to hear them down below, or if you've experienced the same sort of thing that I have. Sometimes it's comforting to read those kinds of stories. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a delicious day. Bye.